lovelies, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. Now today I wanted to share some really great decks with you, I think. So I thought, why don't I take a moment, we're over a third of the way through the year now, why don't I take a moment to share all the decks, all the new decks that I've bought this year so far. So all of these decks I'm about to share were all bought with my own money. Where should we start? Oh my gosh, I've got some really lovely things to share. Okay, let's start with this one, Gloria's Tarot. So this is by Samantha Rook. It's a rock pool deck. I mean, look at the pink and the turquoise for a start. Now, this one is sealed, and you might think, Candy, have you not even used it yet? Yes, I have. The story with this is slightly odd, actually. This deck came and Tilly immediately asked to have a look at it, Tilly, my daughter. So I opened it and showed her, and she loved it. I think it was these amazing pink edges that she really, really loved. I think this deck is fantastic, and like the pink edges and the back, oh, it's just divine. And she loved it so much, she asked if it could go downstairs on the shelf where all of her decks are, because I pull cards with Tilly of a morning before she goes to school, and then we look at them at the end of the day and we see if we can find out where they fitted in her day, and it's always really fun to do that with Tilly. So that deck went onto her shelf and became Tilly's deck, and I thought one day, oh, I wish I had another Gloria's Tarot for the doll room. And don't you know that that day another deck turned up completely out of the blue from Amazon, and I went onto my Amazon account and thought, well, did I inadvertently click for two decks? No, didn't click for two decks. I just randomly got sent another deck. It was so bizarre, and yeah, I just don't know what happened, but it's like I put it out in the universe and there it was, another deck came in. So you know, I'm happy to accept weird twists of fate from the universe. Thank you very much. And it's lovely. So this one is going to go into my doll room. Currently in the doll room, I use the Rainbow Moon Tarot, which is just the most gorgeous deck as well to use. It'd be lovely for this deck to join it. So that is one deck that I bought this year. Right, what next? Let's go with this one now. This one, I discovered a brand new metaphysical shop in my local town. It's been there ages, but it's at the back of the shopping centre, and I didn't realise it was there. So I went in to visit just to leave my details in case they wanted a tarot reader and another tarot reader in the shop. I was being brave that day, and they had a case in there of all second-hand decks. So this is the John Bow Tarot, but it looks like it was the one that came out with the Total Tarot magazine. And this is a deck that I have wanted for a long time, and I just love the storytelling and storytale aspect of this deck. I mean, it just looks like a book that I would have read as a kid, and the backs, oh my gosh, the backs are so lovely. So recently, if you saw me using the Little Bird Tarot, I paired the Little Bird Tarot with this deck, and oh my gosh, those two decks together, they're so good. So I've really enjoyed using this deck alongside the Little Bird Tarot, and I love it. I really love it. It didn't come with any little white book. I don't know whether it's missing it or whether just the Total Tarot magazine version doesn't have one. If you have this deck, the normal version, can you tell me, is it worth buying another copy to get the little white book, or is there a book that goes with it, or how different is the normal copy to this? I would love to know. I'm curious to know, because I've fallen so hook, line and sinker in love with this deck. I just am wondering whether there are differences with the other copy, so let me know. But yeah, this has just been a fabulous addition to my deck collection. So that is the John Barr Tarot, found secondhand, and it's always really nice, I think, to support a local shop. So the Urban Tarot, this one is fabulous. Now this is another one that had been on my radar right from the start of my tarot journey, and it's one that every time I see other people with it, I think, oh, that deck is just incredible. And one of the plans for this year for tarot was to get my Thoth out again and to have another go reading with Thoth, which hasn't happened yet, but this deck is more Thoth inspired, and I just love the artwork. I forget whose channel I saw it on, but they pulled it out and were using it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait a single second longer to get that deck. So this has been really beautiful to read with. I think if any deck is going to get me understanding and more well versed with Thoth, it is going to be this deck. And I just think the images, oh, look at that death card, the images are incredible. Oh, look at this. Honestly, I think this deck is probably one of the more beautiful decks out there. Is it an underrated deck? I think, do you know what, I think this probably is an underrated deck, because I think it's amazing. Oh, look at the cards. This happens every time I get this deck out. I am just always totally blown away by it. So that is the Urban Tarot, such an important and fabulous addition to the collection for definite. I went mad this month. I suddenly bought 3 decks this month. All of a sudden I just thought, no, I just need to get these decks. So the last video I uploaded was the first impressions of the Universal Folk Tarot by Anita Inverarity. I cannot say your name, Anita, I'm so sorry. So I did an initial first impressions of this deck, which I'll link below if you're interested. I think I was hard on it because I don't know it yet, and there were some things that jumped out at me that I was slightly unsure of. Right, let's put 3 cards together, because I know some of you who watched that video were saying you weren't sure how it would look, whether it would be too busy with more than 1 card pulled. So look, this is what it looks like with 3 cards pulled. I think it's all right, actually. It was cards like this where I was saying, like, it's hard to pull the tarot meaning out of the image when the keyword isn't quite so clear. And I went through and read quite a number of cards actually to see if it was working for me as a deck. There were some questions that were raised, but overall I'm really pleased I've got this deck. I think it is stunning, and some of the cards that I delved into, which were confusing me with the image on the card, when I read the guidebook, the card became way clearer, and I thought, yeah, okay. There were some other issues with some other cards, so I think I left that video with more questions hanging in the air than I'd actually answered. So I did promise I would work with this deck and then come back, because what I don't want to do is put out there a first impressions video where I'm like not sure, but I'm not sure because I haven't got the answers, you know. I think that's not fair to the artist of the deck or anybody. So what I'm doing, I'm going to work with the deck and see what happens after those initial first impressions. But it's gorgeous. This is linen cardstock, guys. It's mass market, and it's like got this gorgeous linen cardstock, and the artwork, it is breathtaking. And look, a 3 of Cups with the keyword coven. Oh my gosh, I love that. So this was the first one that I bought in May. I am going to leave this one out because I do really want to come back sooner rather than later to that video, just to try and follow up from some of the questions that I posed. But look at the Chunky Monkey guidebook. There's a lot to work with there. So that was the Universal Folk Tarot. So that is by US Games, again mass market. All of these decks are mass market. Right, I'm sorry about the sun, guys. It's early morning here. And then the other one that I have been eyeing up ever since it got released, which I also pulled the trigger on, it's another US Games deck. Really, if I'd have had any self-control, I'd have picked one or the other. But I have no self-control. And I felt like I hadn't bought a deck in ages, and I just went mad and bought everything that I'd been looking at. So this is the Mind's Eye Tarot by Olivia Rose. Again, I love these 2-part boxes. It's another Chunky Monkey guidebook. I need to do a walkthrough of this. And again, it's beautiful linen cardstock, this time with gold gilt edges, and it's not too sharp. It's not sort of Shadowlands sharp, which is good. Okay. Oh my gosh, again the artwork. So I've not really done any work with this yet. I've not even filmed a first impressions video yet. I have flicked through it though, because this was the first deck to come. So that Hermit card, look at that card, guys. I think that's my all-time favourite Hermit card. So I'm just hoping to goodness that the guidebook is good with this as well, because I think it is, oh, it's spectacular. For the artwork, it is one of the most, I think it's one of the most beautiful decks I've ever seen. I mean, I do a lot of ink work drawing, and it kind of reminds me of that. So it is a style of art that I love. But for buying just for aesthetics, it's a winner. I can't talk about anything else yet because I've not used it. Look at that 6 of Wands. So yeah, that's the Mind's Eye Tarot, which has got these backs. Excited to get to this one as well, I really am. The third deck isn't even open yet. Should we quickly open it? So this is the Folklore Oracle, and I bought this to possibly try and pair with this one. Of course, once I put in the word folklore, I put in the word folk and tarot because I couldn't remember what the Universal Folk Tarot was called, and when I put in folk and tarot deck, this folklore came up as well on the feed, which just seemed just too tempting to do it. And I thought, wow, that looks so fabulous. So this is by Watkins Press. It's by Mike Bass, and it comes with that guidebook. So if you want walkthroughs of any of these, then let me know. Oh my gosh, I love the backs. So all I know about this deck so far is that it's got trees and it's got different animals in. And like the banshee. I mean, look at the art. Look at that drawing of a bear. I mean, just for that card, I would want this deck. Silver birch, that's what I've got in my garden. You've got like the black shuck and the black thorn. So you've got blue cap I've never heard of, but I'm sure the book will explain that. I think it is just amazing. Look, it's got a dragon card in there and the dryad. Oh, I love this. Right, should we see what it looks like next to the Universal Folk Tarot? Because to be honest, that's kind of what pushed me into pulling the trigger on a third deck. I'd already got the Universal Folk Tarot in the basket, and I just thought, might they work together? Because this is such busy artwork, I just thought that the difference in styles would go together really nicely, and yet energetically they match, I thought, and I kind of think they do. So this Five of Wands is one of the cards that I really looked into in my last video, and I couldn't find the mask, but it's the blue paint on the face that's the mask. Some of you in the comment section kind of guessed that it might be that, and then the artist herself came into the comment section, and I must say she was so gracious, considering I hadn't been 100% positive about the deck. She was so gracious in the comment section, which I know isn't always the way when artists of decks watch reviews that are honest and are happy to point out like the things they're not sure about. So yeah, I was really appreciative that she came into the comment section with so much grace. So yeah, go and check that video out, guys. Like I said, I'll link it. But look at these. Oh my gosh, I am loving these two together. Yeah, those two. I'm really chuffed. I'm so chuffed with those two. I think that is such a great combo. I knew it would be. So that was the Folklore Oracle. So obviously now the Folklore Oracle and the Universal Folk Tarot is going to be left out. I'm going to end up working with them both together, of course. Like I said, if you want walkthroughs of any of these decks, just shout it out in the comment section. So those were the three decks that saw me splurge completely out of the blue in May. So those two, the Mind's Eye Tarot, the Universal Folk Tarot and the Folklore Oracle, those three came in 1 month. It felt so decadent to buy that many decks. In February, for my Valentine's Day present to myself, I bought the Goddess of Love Tarot. Oh my goodness, guys, this deck is fantastic. I mean, I love the roses in it, of course. Like, I've been known to buy a deck just because it's got flowers in it. I love the colours. I love the red and the pink together. Just think that's fantastic, unusual and fantastic. But to use it, and I love the style. I love collage. I did a massive 360 on what I felt about collage decks right at the start of my practice. I went from thinking I wasn't sure to literally wanting every collage deck going. And I have loved using this deck. I've absolutely loved it. But the standout thing with this deck, I think, is the guidebook. I am loving working with the guidebook on this deck, and it's giving me some really great readings. So the usability of this deck for me has been off the charts, and at the start of the year I really have had like a really lovely time with it. And it's mass market again. It was really cheap when I bought it, and I've loved it. It's a brilliant deck. If you're on the fence about this one, I would say just bite the bullet and and go for it. I don't think you would be disappointed, especially if you're prepared to work with a guidebook, because the guidebook is, I think, really fabulous. Okay, I've got one here that I can't remember whether I bought it at the end of last year or whether it was this year. I think it might have been this year. And that is the Cozy Witch Tarot by Amanda Lovelace. Now, I have her Believe in Your Magic Oracle, which is like a real comfort oracle for me. It's an oracle that I've really loved. So when I knew that the tarot deck was coming out, it was one of those like no-brainers. I was just sitting in countdown for it to be released. And I just think, I think this deck is gorgeous. I just love everything about the production value of this deck. I think it's beautifully done. I love the messages on here. I love the artwork. I love the colour palette. This feels like a real comfort, just a joyous deck. So like I say, I've got both of Amanda Lovelace's decks now. So I've got the Oracle and I've got this tarot deck, which I love. But I did buy as well, that's just come recently, another oracle that I thought might go really nicely with this deck, and that's Alexis Rankin's Magical Spirit Oracle, The Brilliance of You. I just thought it had a similar vibe and a similar colour palette. So I've not put them together yet because I've not had this oracle very long, but look, those are the backs together. Right, should we just do this together and see? So I think that these two, oh, they look lovely. Already I know I like them. I think the sort of gentle, nurturing messages of these might be a real nice like comfort pairing for me. What do you think? So that's why I added in this oracle. I also love the style of this oracle. I love the words on the cards. I mean, both of these are word heavy on the cards, which I suppose if you're going to a deck for like a comfort deck or grounding deck, it takes kind of some of the work out of it, which feels more like somebody like supporting you and saying like, you sit back, I'm going to give you the message. I'm just going to spoon feed it to you while you sit back and like just don't do the work. That's what this kind of feels like. So yeah, love these two. I'm really excited to start working with these two together. So that is the Magical Spirit Oracle and the Cozy Witch Tarot deck. Okay, I have one more oracle to show you, which again I've not used yet. Honestly, I buy these decks when I've got lots of decks already in my collection, and then everything gets stacked up waiting to be used, which is a very nice problem to have. I do know that. So this one, I literally can't remember where I saw this one, but the minute I saw it, I thought, okay, well, that's got to come home to me. So this is a 53 card deck. It's by Sharon Blackie and it's the Rooted Woman Oracle. I just think the energy of this deck looks amazing. And look at that. So I flipped through this and I have shuffled it and I have pulled the odd card here or there, but I've not really properly sat down to go through it and look at it and, you know, see what I think. Love the labyrinth cards so much. And you've got like shape-shifting cards. Now I bought this deck because it feels like what I feel internally when I go out on like a spiritual nature adventure, or if I take my tarot out, or if I walk into the woods and things start to happen, or down on the beach when I'm in Wales. This feels like Adventure Tarot. Also, the second I saw that it had a Sheila and a Gig card, that was it, we were sold. It also has the Cailleach in, which again is linked to the story of Bridget, which is which is a deity that I work with. We've got Ceridwen, we've got Ellen, we've got all of these wonderful, amazing deity figures in here. Like there's the Morrigan as well. It was a complete no-brainer for me in my personal practice when I saw this deck. Like, we've got the well at Glastonbury. It's like things and places and elements in this deck that have been part of some of the most magical moments of my spiritual practice, and I love it. I love it. So this needs to stay out as well, so that I can really get to know this one as well. So if you want a full walkthrough or review of any of these, let me know. And if you want reviews and not flip throughs, you're going to have to wait until I've used them. So let me know what you would like, and I will get on it. So that's it, guys. Those are the amazing decks and oracles and tarot that I have bought myself so far in 2024. So which was your favourite? Tell me which was your favourite in the comment section if you had a favourite. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.